I always thought betrayal would come with screaming. Slamming doors, broken glass, accusations that echo through the night. But sometimes betrayal comes quietly, in whispers, in silence, in the absence of truth. My husband and I had been married for 7 years. 7 years of building a life that looked perfect from the outside. People said we were lucky. We had a home, steady jobs, even the occasional vacations that made it onto social media. But behind closed doors, something had started to shift. He became distant. His laughter, once easy and bright, turned into polite smiles. His phone became his shield, always within reach, face down. Nights grew longer, dinners grew colder, and silence grew heavier. At first, I told myself it was stress. Work. Bills. Life. But one evening, as he came home late once again, tie loosened, eyes tired but strangely alert, I looked at him and felt something I had never felt before: fear. Fear that the man I thought I knew was slowly disappearing. Then came the night everything changed. He said he had a late meeting. I didn't ask questions, I had stopped asking months ago. But as he left, something inside me snapped. I couldn't live in the dark anymore. So I followed him. My car trailed us through winding streets until we ended up far from his office, far from anywhere he should have been. He parked outside a dimly lit cafe, the kind that stays open late for people who don't want to be seen. I stayed in my car, hands gripping the wheel so tightly they ached. Through the window, I saw him. He wasn't alone. Sitting across from him was a woman, confident, beautiful, the kind of woman who doesn't look like a mistake. They didn't touch. They didn't kiss. But the way he leaned in, the way he listened, the way his eyes softened, it was intimacy, and that was enough to break me. I didn't storm in. I didn't confront him. Instead, I went home. And I wrote a letter. It wasn't angry. It wasn't desperate. It was simple. I told him I knew. I told him I had seen enough to understand. And I told him he had one chance, just one, to tell me the truth. I sealed it in an envelope and placed it on his desk where he couldn't miss it. The next morning, he saw it. He froze. His eyes scanned the words, and for the first time in months, I saw something crack in him. Guilt. Fear. Maybe even shame. He didn't speak. He just looked at me, as if searching for an answer that didn't exist. Hours passed. He didn't call. He didn't text. And then, late that night, my phone rang. It wasn't him. It was her. Her voice was trembling, but not with guilt, with fear. She told me things I wasn't supposed to know. About the late-night meetings, about the secrets he kept, about the lies he told both of us. She wasn't just the other woman. She was as much a victim as I was. He had promised her things, just as he had promised me. 2 lives, 2 stories, 2 versions of himself. And then she said something that made my blood run cold. He told me you'd never find out. He said you were too blind to see. In that moment, something inside me shattered. Not just because he cheated. Not just because he lied. But because the man I trusted had built his entire life on the belief that I would never wake up. The next morning, he tried to explain. He begged me to listen, to understand that it wasn't what it looked like. But the envelope had already spoken. The silence had already screamed. And her words still echoed in my head. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I simply packed a bag. As I walked out the door, he reached for me. But I didn't stop. Because sometimes the greatest act of strength is leaving quietly, without looking back. Days turned into weeks. He tried calling, texting, sending messages I couldn't bring myself to read. But I didn't need more lies. I didn't need explanations. I had all the truth I could handle. The truth that the man I loved was never really mine. That he belonged to shadows, to secrets, to versions of himself I would never know. I used to think love could survive anything. That forgiveness was stronger than betrayal. But now I know better. Sometimes betrayal isn't the end of love, it's the revelation that what you thought was love was only an illusion. And illusions, once shattered, can never be rebuilt. So this is my confession. Not of anger, but of clarity. I left an envelope on the table, and in return, I received the truth. A truth that destroyed my marriage, but saved me from living in lies. If you're listening to this, wondering if you should follow your suspicions, wondering if you should open the door to the truth, I'll tell you this, the truth will break you, yes. But it will also set you free. Because once you know the secret you were never supposed to know, there is no going back.